Two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Some statements and questions here on Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd. Presented by MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Judley, let's do it.
That is absolutely correct. It is going to be very soon warm outside, thankfully. But guess what? That means that if you have any questions about that air conditioner, is it working? Perhaps it's time for an upgrade. I want you to touch base with my friends at MSP because they do fantastic work. How do I know? Well, Sports Dad knows because he's used them, and I'm going to tell you right now, they are fantastic. Trust, quality, the efficiency off the charts. They will get done whatever you possibly need done, and they'll do it in a way that is going to leave you as a very satisfied customer. Give them a call, 651-615-4292, or check out their website, call MSP.com, call MSP.com. MSP, plumbing, heating, and air. If it's one of those three things, they are coming to the rescue, and I guarantee you, you're going to be satisfied. Or, I'm sorry, and I guarantee you, at MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air, you are going to be satisfied.
I feel like we don't lead many shows with golf talk because we have a lot of team-centric shows. Like Royce, sometimes we'll talk about a major on a Monday or whatever it is.
Yep.
But I've got a statement off the Masters yesterday.
Okay, go ahead.
Probably multiple statements, but I guess statement number one would be Jim Nantz still throwing 100 miles an hour. Jim Nantz was. Some people think he's insufferable, but I don't know. I would
like to talk about this at some point, but I feel like your statement goes first, and then we'll talk about Jim Nantz.
Let's circle back to
put
Jim
a pin
Nantz.
in that, but let's get back to it.
No pun intended on the pin. My statement is that Masters Sunday, I think, was the third most memorable Masters of my lifetime. And I was born in 1985. And you could shuffle these in any order. I will say it's one of the three most memorable Masters of my lifetime.
I think I know. Okay.
I don't remember the Jack 86 because I was one. Yep. But Jack over the age of, and now it's he was 46 years old. Now professional athletes and golfers have pushed that envelope a little bit where you can be much more competitive into your, maybe even your early 50s. Hell, Bernard Langer almost made the cut, and he's much older.
Yep.
But a 46-year-old Jack Nicklaus in 1986 was way past his prime, and for him to go on that magic run on Sunday. 1997, Tiger Woods blowing away the field. And then I think 2025, the roller coaster of Rory McIlroy. And what's funny is people wondering, how does he miss all these putts? One, he's never been a great putter. He's been a ball striker, one of the longest drivers, accuracy, and ball strikers. So putting's never been a strong suit for him. But he admitted in his press conference afterwards how nervous he was because he's literally carrying around over a decade of pressure and weight in every year that goes by that he doesn't win. And he hasn't won a major in over a decade, has never won the Masters. He's one major away from the Grand Slam championship, the second golfer in 60 plus years to win all four majors.
Yep.
And you're standing over a 6-foot putt. All of us would be pissing ourselves in those situations.
I do.
And Declan and I do it when it's just a Saturday we're buzzed with friends.
I hope you have
48 hours ago. I literally was wetting myself on 16 trying to see if I can get this in or not.
We get nervous if the group behind us catches up and is watching us tee off. It's oh my God, there's 4 people watching me hit this shot. I'm nervous. Imagine having the world staring at you for over a decade wondering, when are you going to win the Masters? Are you going to make that putt? And he felt all of it. And to watch him just completely break down as he hit his knees was pretty wild. So that was easily one of the 3 most memorable Masters of my lifetime.
When he put the ball in the drink.
Oh, my gosh.
On a second shot on 18, I thought it's all over.
I was watching from O'Donovan's when that shot happened across the street. We left Target Center a little bit early. And I saw him. We walked in as he was walking back and forth trying to figure out where to drop it.
Yeah.
And because it's a par 5, I thought, oh, man, his second shot must have come up short trying to hit the green from 200-some yards, which happens. But, he'll just get up and down for par here. And I didn't realize he played it safe and he's sitting there with a little wedge shot. So that wedge and then the missed putt on 18, 100% nerves, but who can blame? I have a feeling now that this is over and he finally won one, he's got the Grand Slam. He literally has nothing else to prove at this point. Mm-hmm. I wonder if he goes on a run now. Mm-hmm. If this frees him up to win like 5 more majors in the next 8 to 10 years.
It felt like no matter what, whether he won it or choked it away, it was a career-defining Rory McIlroy situation. Because if he chokes that away, and again, we're having the same conversation a year from now. I know I poked fun at that yesterday, but that it was a career-defining day, right or wrong, for better or worse for Rory. Like that's how that would go. My statement on the Masters is this: we need to embrace the face and the heel in golf. Bryson DeChambeau being paired up with Rory, and Rory not, which, like, by the way, like, I'm not surprised that, like, Rory didn't say anything to him. Oh, yeah. And then I saw, but here's what absolutely drives me bonkers. This happens in hockey, and this happens in golf. It's this kind of stupid, toxic, this is how we've always done things type of things. Like, we're gonna talk about our sport a certain way. The game has to be played a certain way, and anything that pokes at that, you are bending at tradition and you're insulting the game, and I can't stand it. And it feels like to me, and this is the wrestling, I guess, tie-in, and that was the perfect face Rory McIlroy and heel Bryson DeChambeau. Heel to the point where in wrestling this happens, you get the double turn, right? Eventually the heel becomes the face and the face becomes the heel. Like, you had a perfect setup for that. And I think fans need to embrace that type of fun chaos that is professional wrestling in terms of looking at the face and heel and who you want to align yourself with. So embrace the face and the heel for golf, please.
I think people want that. I think, and first of all, Bryson has become much more of a good guy in recent years, and Rory has actually become much more of a people started to get really sick of Rory and some of. First of all, the choking is no longer endearing. It's become annoying for people, and that's not necessarily fair to Rory because he's trying as hard as he can. But I think with him blowing off the media last year after the Open and him being kind of front and center with this PGA versus Live Tour stuff, he blew off the media on Thursday after his bad finish to the first round. Yeah. But now after yesterday, those roles have fit right back in where Rory finally wins and the crowd's going crazy and this weight's off his shoulders. And then Bryson, after the round, when given a chance to just like take the high road. So Rory just was in his zone the whole time. They don't like each other, but it wasn't contentious. Rory just said, even the day before, he's like, I'm going to go into my cocoon and I'm going to play my game for 4 hours and that's it. Right. And so he just didn't talk to Bryson, which isn't that uncommon. Tiger Woods, every Sunday of his professional life, was out there as if nobody else was. You're waiting for the guy to go, but he's not like interacting with them during a Sunday round. Right. But Bryson made it clear to the media he didn't say anything to me. And he doesn't like me or whatever the follow-up was. So, but it's great. This is what, hey, we're in a post-Tiger era, just like we were in a post-Michael Jordan era there for the NBA for a while. What's the interesting thing that you want to tune into to watch if Tiger's not going to be on TV? And these are two of those reasons why you might tune in.
I wouldn't expect guys to talk. So like that's the weird thing is it's like it's a freaking major. In Rory's case, like you got to focus as much as you possibly can. Like what were we expecting? Like a casual conversation eventually or something? So like
the only thing I would say off that is I think I'm going to play a sports psychologist here for a second. Completely underqualified sports psychologist, not licensed at all whatsoever. But I think sometimes he gets too in his head. Obviously, he's missing these short putts. It's all psychological.
Sure.
Whereas Bryson, in the middle of a round, Bryson's like high-fiving kids and patrons, as they call them at the Masters.
Oh, God, the pretentiousness is...
On the way to the 9th hole, he's like high-fiving people, and he's doing his Bryson thing and showing personality. And I think if Rory would loosen up a little bit once in a while, maybe he wouldn't feel so much tension on the grip of that putter when the
I guess, but that's just not him. Like it's just clear, right? It's just not him, which is... I just thought it was weird because when Bryson said that post round, it sounded like he was sort of offended by it. Well, he didn't talk to me. It's like, okay. I mean, you're competing.
Yeah.
You went into the day 2 shots down. I wouldn't talk to you, especially because he seems like he is a man of the people now. And if I'm his opponent, McIlroy, in this case, I want to keep my distance from that because I don't want to be caught up in that crap. So anyway, I thought the whole thing was sort of weird.
I love the note, and Phil, you were probably at the game. I don't know if you heard it, but on Saturday night after his round, he was just walking around his Airbnb like development area where all the other houses are. Just found some guys putting in the backyard.
Who, Bryson?
Bryson. And just hung out with some people doing some putts for a couple hours, and then went to bed.
That's
I love
awesome.
that. I love that.
And then I think it was after the third round, he went and hit. I don't know if he hit all the balls, but there was like 6 bags of golf balls on the range, and he's over there with his like TrackMan software and stuff, just hitting 100 balls to try and dial some stuff in, and which didn't work for Sunday. And Rory said, "I'm going to go and drink a glass of wine and watch the second episode of Bridgerton, season 3." So, anyways, it was. How could you not like feel what he was feeling in some way?
It was great
and
theater.
He's just bawling and
my
incredible
wife,
theater.
Always loathes when I have golf, and I don't watch all golf. Like I'll have the majors on. I might put it on as a background noise. But anytime she'd be like, "Oh God, you have golf on, great." She wasn't. She's like, "Feel my palms on 18." You think Rory was nervous? My wife's hands were clammy the entire last.
She
20
missed
minutes
putts right and
watching
left.
She was just all into it. All into it.
The line for Jim Nantz, by the way, was he tosses his putter and crumbles to the sacred sod.
Yeah.
After he said the initial call, which was Rory McIlroy finally has his masterpiece.
Oh, so just quickly before my statement, what's your guys' opinion of the utter, in 2025, reverence that the Masters demands to be treated with? Patrons.
Well, I think that you hit the key, which is that the Masters demands to be treated with is the case.
But what's your opinion of that?
It's very self-indulgent, very self-important, but I think it adds. We're all kind of in on the joke. Jim Nantz is kind of in on the joke. We all know that it's way over the top.
I don't think Jim is in. I think he's part of it.
But he knows he's making millions of dollars a year to literally describe this place as sacred sod.
Yeah, but they're fans. Like, come on, let's just call them fans.
They're patrons.
And you know what?
Don't you dare talk about those mud balls either. Okay.
And the
Jordan
greens
Spieth's never
are
going to be
bikini
seen
wax
again.
sometimes. Yeah, they tell us not to talk about the mud balls. What? So there's rules about what you can't talk. It's just I don't know. To me, it feels like a lot.
It definitely is a lot. But if you don't market it that way, the tournament doesn't feel like the Super Bowl. You know?
I know. It's just self-indulgence, a very good word. My statement is this. Memo to Jim Nantz. Sometimes less is more. And here's where, okay? I know he has to now, and he did this on basketball too, he has to put his stamp on everything. Like he can't allow a final putt or a final shot or a championship to unfold without a scripted, here's what I thought of last night. That's fine. That's him. But when Rory on 18, the first time, not the playoff, the first time, is walking towards the hole, and Jim Nantz is going on chapter and verse all that his parents did, which, by the way, he then came back to in the Butler cabin, which was great, right? But as Rory is trying to like there's this theater, it's just great. Like the pictures tell the story. I don't need you to say a word.
The pictures don't tell the story for a casual fan. You don't know the story behind why the fans are being shown.
But the tension that Dex is talking about, and his wife is the perfect example. She does not need Jim Nantz babbling about his parents. That tension is palpable. It's palpable. It's palpable. And Jim Nantz is rambling on about how Rory's parents did this. Jim and Matilda gave up so much time and so much. It's like, Jim, shut up. Rory's face tells the story. Allow the camera to tell the story. You're on TV for a reason.
Let me push back because you could have actually not been more wrong with how my wife felt about the commentary, because she was literally loving hearing all the backstory on that type of stuff.
That's the point.
That's the whole
when
point.
When he is walking towards the hole on 19, I just want you to hear the fans. I don't need you to try to ram in the story of this kid's or
I need
this
to
guy's
stop.
life.
I need to put a stop to this. This is a bad take, and Declan's wife is a great reason why. So you've got the core of the people watching are people that would watch every Masters, obviously, and those people. So like, for sure, me and Declan, you're not a golf fan, but you know enough about sports where you kind of know Rory's history of choking and stuff. Like you're on that next layer of fans, but you're picking up millions more people throughout the day that don't know. Like maybe they're walking in because their husband's got it on or something, or you're at a gathering at a bar and the volume was up at O'Donovan's, by the way, for a part of this, and you don't know that he hasn't won a major in 11 years. That if he pars this hole, he'll be the 6th golfer in the history of the sport to do this thing. You don't get that part of it if Jim Nantz.
But he's talking about his parent. Exactly.
He's building the drama.
If he wants to build the drama by saying that here comes a guy who has previously been choking like a pig in this tournament, go for it. He's talking about the backstory of what his parents did.
Yeah,
this is always lay out. Vin Scully laid out. Al Michaels, do you believe in miracles? Silence. Joe Buck.
Time out again.
Diggs,
okay.
Touchdown.
Time out again.
Always lay out.
Judd, do you believe in miracles? Goal is scored. Do you believe in miracles? Lay out. When he won the tournament, Jim Nantz delivers his little signature line,
which he also
and then 7 minutes of silence while the story played out on camera.
Right.
7 minutes of silence. But what you're complaining about, the tournament's still happening. The story is still building. It has not reached its climax
yet.
He's
babbling about the backstory of this guy's family. I don't need that. You don't need that. Then now, if you want to say he has choked beyond belief, and this is a potential another choke, then go for it. I don't need to hear about Jerry and Matilda and all that they did, and they're watching at home, and it's near midnight. That's the type of stuff. If you're going to do that, lay out. If you're going to tell me the truth, that's great. If you're going to say this is a guy
telling you the truth,
who previously
telling you the truth, what's a lie?
He's literally telling you about the backstory of his golf life and why this is such a big.
I don't need that at that time. If
you don't need it, but millions of other people don't know what's happening.
If you want to, at that point in time, rip him and say he's choking again, that's the only thing. Nantz treats this thing, he has to inject himself way too much, which is why it's good that he didn't even need, here's his thing. He didn't even need his last line.
Entertaining. This is a terribly incorrect take right now.
No, it's not. You always lay out. You
lay out after the result.
Yeah. Right, but why
then
not?
You let it tell.
Up here.
You literally
okay.
You're saying don't tell me the backstory of why this potential moment that's about to happen is really important.
Tell me that backstory. Context. That's the choking pig. Well,
they've been talking about that the whole week.
Okay, then you don't need the context of how he he's trying to cram it in because he can't help himself, because he has to. It's how he's always worked. I like the guy personally.
No, you don't. Very clearly you do.
No, I do like him personally, but it's always been him trying to ramrod something in. The backstory is the backstory is he's choked before. Is he going to again? That's all that you need. He's literally trying to tell you, he's reading from his notes about his family and about how this guy.
So you also
don't tell me his life story.
Another thing you don't like about Jim Nantz is that he preps.
No, I'm just saying you don't need to. When you prep for a telecast.
Oh, here it comes from Judd, who's done many
notebook
many
like this.
telecasts in his career.
Don't forget. Before I was the lead Vikings beat guy at the Star Tribune, I was the sports TV columnist, passing judgment on a weekly basis, passing judgment all the time. And my judgment of Nantz from day one has always been he has a sense of he needs to be talking when he doesn't at times.
I feel like that's so many commentators.
Oh, do you want to start the list? Yes.
But also, like, to pull the curtain back here, let's be honest. In the years of text messages, about 15 to 20% of them are Judd talking about the local play-by-play people or Jim Nantz.
Yeah,
or
right.
I mean,
Because I still
without
have
a doubt,
that itch to scratch.
for the better or worse, you have honestly absurd standards for your broadcast announcers.
You have
really
very.
do.
Yeah, you do
I have
a very-
standard. I have standards. Provis, phenomenal. Grady, phenomenal.
But here's the thing: your biggest complaint about Jim Nantz to lead this statement was that you need to put your stamp and lay out. He did for 7 minutes.
Yep.
We watched Rory McIlroy cry all across Augusta, Georgia, and then they brought it to Butler Cabin, or they went to commercial and brought it
Which
to
was
Butler
well
Cabin.
done. Which was well done.
And anything before that happens, I'm not going to fault the commentary team with an audience coming in and out, millions of people, for explaining what's happening.
Okay.
Because a guy lining up over a golf shot does not tell you anything if you don't know the backstory.
Okay, if you don't know the backstory by 18, you're hopeless. Tell the story on 15. I don't care. I'm not saying that Nance
That's
shouldn't
an
talk.
hour beforehand.
I'm
I
saying,
disagree.
oh no.
Yeah,
Always
I want
you
to see
don't bring
how long we
Duran
can
in the
keep
fourth
this
inning.
argument
You know, you
going.
got to close the game.
allow the pictures to tell the story. That's why you're on TV.
And the pictures are not enough to tell the story as
If
you're
you
walking
dip
up
in
to
at
the
18
AT&T
and
box.
need to hear a guy's life story, that's a you problem. Nobody.
wow.
Do you think the ratings suffered? Like, if Jim Nantz had shut up, do you think it's like, oh, the ratings are awful? Why? Well, because Nance didn't babble enough.
This has gone from I feel like this has gone from
This is
kind
gonna-
of a benign opinion to like uncovering Judd's deep resentment and hatred for Jim Nantz.
No, it's not true.
specifically
It's
as
not
a
true.
human.
Very nice man. Very nice man. I actually sat in 18 at the PGA Championship here. Was it 2003?
2002.
2002. I was in 18. I was
What
up.
do you mean?
I was up in 18 in the back of the booth with Nance and who was the analyst at that time? I forget.
Azinger? Was it Paul Azinger?
No, it was an older guy at the time. I think it was an older guy.
Peter Costas?
Might have been. But anyway, I was up there with Nancy Boy. So no, I'm just telling you, I don't.
Did you know
need
what
it.
was going on while watching from?
It was really
perch?
it was really intriguing. So
Did you know what the storylines were when you're up there?
yeah, because Jim had a bunch of big books and he just kept reciting. But anyway,
That's why I thought.
No, it was intriguing because I sat in 18 all day, and they actually have to do the call, of course, off the monitors throughout the day, and then it's not till they get to 18. It was really cool, but I would have told Jim when Tiger is walking up here, just let it go, let it be.
I
Let
wish
it
we
be.
could. I legitimately wish we could continue beating this horse to death for 20 more minutes.
I have
But
some strong takes about this. Yep. Okay.
but I'm gonna shout out Legit Pizza, which I think we can all agree.
We can all agree on this.
Is
Yes.
fantastic.
Yep.
And if I could tell you the backstory of Legit Pizza, Judd would say if you don't already know about Legit Pizza, then that's a you problem.
Let the pictures tell the story, Phil. Look
I'm
how
going to
delicious
play
that
Jim.
looks.
Well, we could let the pictures tell the story here, but for the audience that's maybe not watching the pictures, bouncing in and out of the room, or just doesn't even really know what we're showing here besides it's a pizza, Legit Pizza has that stone-baked cracker thin crust. They've got that whole milk mozzarella, exceptional ingredients, that throwback pizza parlor style that you can find inside a grocery store freezer section somewhere near you. Pep's Legit Pizza. All right, boy, I think we do got to run here because I got to record O-line committee. Curious, I know Jeremiah has some takes on this, so maybe he also agrees with Judd that Jim Nantz
Actually,
should be
you know what?
paid $30 million a year to say nothing during the biggest events. That's Judd's take.
At 18, I don't mind that. Well, yeah, no, you tell me the ball placement, the club. Actually,
Oh, so you want him to tell you that?
Actually, you know what?
You want him to tell you that?
Here's what I
that
want.
drive is piped right down the middle.
here's what I want. Rory walking up 18, emotional. Show the wife, the kid, talk about how they filed for divorce But now
you
they've
want
reconciled.
nothing to do with the wife and child and the human story part. That would be the last thing you want to hear about.
I'm kidding. I'm joking. But they did file for divorce and reconciled. And in what's her face,
Amanda Balionis.
Yeah,
like you see, Amanda Balionis
there were questions.
She interviewed the runner-up, Justin Rose. So if Rory misses the putt on 18 in the playoff, and Justin Rose makes his, do we get the awkward Amanda Balionis Rory McIlroy interview?
I think she talked to him post round on Saturday.
Okay.
McIlroy, and I think he was really, really good.
Yeah.
Very comfortable.
There it is. That's your probably your one and only deep dive golf breakdown here. And we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll do a US Open one.
You know what? Next Monday, because we'll have WrestleMania in the can. By next weekend statements and questions, I will spend 9 minutes on Michael Cole's commentary. Whatever happens, however that story
9 minutes.
finishes.
I think we're going to.
If you didn't
15.
know about Roman Reigns' backstory, that's on you. I want to hear Jim Nantz call WrestleMania, actually. That would be.
The patrons.
Yes.
How are the patrons?
All right, guys. There's your statements and questions and a raging debate here. Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd.